In this video, I'll discuss some specific actions that could lower the cost of housing, and we're starting right now. Hey guys, Elliot here. So it's no secret that the prices of homes have skyrocketed in the last few years, and together with the elevated mortgage rates, this all combines to make this the worst time in recent memory to buy a home. Now, there isn't much that can be done with the interest rates as they are partially tied to the Fed, but there are some good news on the horizon in the sense that the Fed is planning to continue cutting rates in 2025 and possibly beyond. What needs to be addressed then is the unaffordability of homes. The issue, quite simply, is supply and demand, and to make things worse, the squeeze is coming from two separate directions. There is certainly a shortage of new housing starts as we just don't build enough new homes in the first place, but there's also a shortage of existing homes for sale because of the low interest rates we had a few years back during the pandemic. Everyone refinanced or purchased a home when rates were under 3%, and now no one wants to sell because presumably you still need someplace to live, and that will mean a new and much higher mortgage. This is referred to as the locked-in effect and is the reason inventory of older homes is so low. However, there are a number of solutions to clear this logjam and jumpstart both new construction and turnover of existing homes. Here's a list of 4 very specific things that can and should be done to stimulate the market. To tackle the lack of new construction, there are 2 specific actions that can be taken on a local, state, and federal level. The first is to change the zoning laws to allow more multi-unit construction. Nationwide, the way many of our zoning laws are written favors construction of single-family detached homes. It's much harder to get permission to build multifamily apartment complexes, condos, or townhomes, and that's a problem as denser housing can obviously house more people. Zoning laws limit not just the density of housing builds, but also minimum lot sizes, building height, setback, and other design requirements that all combine to prevent apartments or multifamily homes from being built. There are historical roots to these zoning laws, mostly having to do with wanting to safeguard property values and preserve a certain type of neighborhood that admitted less affluent residents who could only afford to live in apartments. Things are changing slowly as numerous states are rethinking their zoning laws and opening up development despite some strong pushback from homeowners groups. The second way to help new home construction would be to lower or remove the tariffs on Canadian lumber. Canada is one of the U.S. biggest trading partners, and the protectionist tariffs put in place in August of 24 amount to over 14%, up from 8% prior to that date. The dispute stems from perceived help the Canadian softwood lumber industry was getting from the Canadian government, but the result of these tariffs was that the U.S. builders were faced with far higher prices, unreliable supplies, price swings, and shortages, which all combined to dramatically raise the cost of new home construction. So better zoning and getting rid of lumber tariffs are 2 ways to help with new home construction, but what can be done with already built properties? One major proposal to alleviate lack of housing is to convert vacant office space and abandoned businesses to apartments and lofts. This has actually been tried in some major cities like New York City, and if you visit there, you will see a lot of factories and warehouses that have been transformed to very desirable and spacious apartments. Still, a lot of vacancies sit idle in other cities around the country, and this untapped living space could make a significant dent in the housing shortage if developers were properly incentivized to modify and convert them. Finally, there are a lot of homeowners out there who would like to sell, but for various financial reasons cannot do so. A major reason is one that I mentioned earlier, and that is the higher mortgage rate they will have to take on if they buy another home. However, other incentives may sweeten the deal and entice them to sell. One idea that comes up often is offering these sellers tax breaks from any capital gains taxes when they sell. Typically, you pay taxes on the price difference between what you originally paid for the home and what you're selling it for, and while there are exemptions on a sizable portion of these gains, making sellers 100% exempt would likely bring a few of them off the sidelines, and the result would be more homes on the market, which would lead to a rise in the supply and a decrease in the price. Okay, that was a quick discussion of some of the ways to make homes more affordable. There are other approaches as well, but what they all have in common is the need for political will to make this happen, and that unfortunately is often in short supply. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.